finds me into the first pop, pick close to tail to an ordinary job. I'm a skillful space in corner rooms, avoiding the plastic and passing our juice. Everyone else follows through. Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to the YellBRo. I am Jordan, and today, Tim Pool and his crew of cronies are going to basically turn Squid Game, which I thought was an interesting show, into culture war, of course. But first, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery, helping victims of Africom, the Cohen Daly, the Australian boy. Also, help out some content creators, Stevie, a.k.a. Redneck Economics, Sleepy J, Buy Him a Coffee, and optionally, if you must, the snail from Chicago, Ali Alexandra. All links in the description box. As you can see, I have a different setup here. I can't do crazy shit anymore. You can't see all my arms, so I go like this. You can't really see them. I can flex. I could do the Hinkle. Shit like that. All right. So, if you're an avid hate watcher of Tim Pool, like I have been, I'm notorious for it, you will know that he has this saying called, "Get woke, go broke." And if you also seen Squid Game, you would think Tim would put Squid Game into the woke category because it seems like it's making a lot of, critiques of Western capitalism, Western countries partaking in capitalism, elites ruling over the 99%, on and on and so forth, right? Turning our society and our economics into a rat race instead of something communal, as the far leftists might fucking say. So, of course, Tim is going to take that show. Hopefully you watched it. If you haven't, there's going to be spoilers. I apologize. Not really, but go watch it. It's interesting. Tim is going to take what we saw in that show and try to flip it into his team's side. And I don't even think it's his team. I think it's just him pandering to his audience, grifting like a mother freaker. It is what it is. All right, I got to get used to the camera being like right here. I got to look at it and shit. All right. So the name of this video is Hit New TV Show Squid Game is actually a critique of communism, not capitalism, as creator intended. Wait, is he saying the creator intended to make it a critique of capitalism? But in fact, what he's actually doing is critiquing communism. By accident? I don't know, he's going to explain it. Here we go. And by the way, this nerdotic, whatever his name is, thank you, Anthony. I'll be checking this guy out. Smells a little, smells weird. All right, here we go.
I want to talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
We should talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys can see it.
So I think Squid Game is...
Squid Gang.
I don't think it's overtly political. Apparently,
I have to talk as loud. It's interesting.
It was like there's like a political message in Squid Game.
Yeah, the writer, at least that's what he said.
My takeaway from it was communism bad. That was my takeaway from it. Okay, so now I'm going to say this.
See, even in that room, he probably got blank stares. You just don't get to see them. They're probably just like...
For those that are listening, spoiler alert, if you haven't finished Squid Game, it's an awesome show.
Yeah.
I prefer watching it in the original Korean with subtitles.
Wait. Get woke, go broke. But it's a great show. So it has to be some other type of ideology that's actually happening. Gotcha.
I think it's fantastic. With the dub, you lose a lot of that like reverb and like natural sound. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
I watched
spoiler alert. I'm going to say it again. We are going to spoil this show to
Kingdom Come.
To Kingdom Come. There we go. Spoiler alert. So what was it about? You mentioned that the creator had said something, and it was like
The creator called it a fable for modern day capitalism, but also for life and the competitiveness of life. And that message, it's not subtle at the end, which I won't ruin for anybody, but it's not subtle at the end. And that messaging was there, and some people can't get past it, and I understand that. But I thought it was a damn good story.
But what was the messaging? Like, what do you think the message conveyed?
Well, basically it's a cold and cruel system. There in that fable, there is no resolution except for at the end they create their own enemy, quote unquote. But that's what I got out of it.
All right.
So not only the creator, but also his guest are both saying, oh, this was a critique of whatever, the cold-hearted rat race of capitalism. Although, me personally, I'm going to disagree with any type of notion like that. I think that's, I get it, but it could, in my opinion, for the art that I'm into, it would be like a waste of canvas. That's just me. Granted, it had underneath things, a little bit underneath things, little like normal human quality things underneath. Makes the show, more engageable, but, if your big theme is, critiques of capitalism, it's going to bore the shit out of me. But this show didn't. I found it entertaining. That's about it. And interesting. Thought it was making fun of Americans, like, in particular. If you actually look at it. But, all right. Here is Tim's assessment of the movie.
Just for context, okay, because those of you that are sticking around, even though we told you spoilers are here, I'm going to give you the quick breakdown of the show. It's a bunch of desperate people in debt, and then all of a sudden they get an opportunity to play in a game, but the game is brutal and you die in it. But if you don't, you win. I think it's like equivalent of US like $35 to $40 million is the translation. So it's like 45 billion Korean won or something. Now we're going to get into, again, I warned you, spoilers. I think the whole thing is the perfect example of somebody who thinks they're opposing capitalism, but just makes communism and wokeness look really, really dumb. Huh. And the show ends up being, in my opinion, more anti-communist than anything. So one of the big themes in the show is that everyone is...
All right, I have to... I got to rewind a little bit. That one. I have to hear that again. Let me put subtitles on too. I got to hear it again.
Is a translation. So it's like 45 billion Korean won or something. Now we're going to get into, again, I warned you, spoilers. I think the whole thing is the perfect example of somebody who thinks they're opposing capitalism, but just makes communism and wokeness look really, really dumb. Huh. And the show ends up being, in my opinion, more anti-communist than anything. So one of the big...
Okay, you're going to have to explain it. Granted, it sounds like nonsense from the jump. Sounds like complete nonsense. But he has to explain that. Let's give Tim a shot, even though we know what's going to happen. Come on, bro. Come on.
And the show ends up being, in my opinion, more anti-communist than anything. So one of the big themes in the show is that everyone is equal. They all enter the game as equals, and they're allowed to play as equals. And there's an arc in the show where it's like somebody violates the equality, and so they kill him. And they were like, that's the worst thing you could have done is strip the equality. But now, here's how the show ends. You've been warned. In this equal system, everyone dies but one person who gets all of the money. Huh. Okay, so that doesn't sound to me like capitalism. In capitalism, we recognize not everybody is equal. Not everybody does have an equal chance. We do want equal opportunity, but some people are poor and some people are rich. In this system, everyone is wearing the same clothes in the same room, being brutalized by the powers that ultimately results in one person having all the wealth and everyone dying. That is not capitalism. In capitalism, there's too much food. People are morbidly obese, and there are homeless people who are fat. In communism,
he knows he's full of shit. You could forgive me. This might be out there, but you can tell by the look in his eyes. He knows he's bullshitting you. He knows he's bullshitting. I'm telling you, it's these soft, pillowy eyes he does when he knows he's full of shit. He fucking knows it. Like, you could take that narrative of like, hey, so society, the overlords, are telling you that, hey, everyone's equal. All you got to do is pull yourself up by the bootstrap. But the catch is, to pull yourself up by the bootstrap, you kind of got to take other people out of your way too. Right? You have to scratch and crawl over people to reach the top or to make it. That's been a capitalist trope forever, but somehow he's twisting it into that. Now, once again, I don't like that concept in a film or TV show, but I'm pretty sure that's where the writers were going with it. Yeah, my opinion. Of course, this guy will take that and like something as obvious on its face, he will take that and twist it and lie. Like, I don't know. That's not a, it's not a scientific way of going about things, but I'm just the way his eyes look when he says things. When he says stuff like this, it's like, you're bullshitting. You're taking a story and twisting it. Now, if he was actually twisting the story on purpose, why would you think that's the case? It turns into my problem with Tim Pool fans in general. Like, I'm like, wow, you guys are like the dumbest audience on YouTube. Gives you every little hint he can that he's full of shit, and you fucking buy it anyways. All right, whatever. Here we go.
Everybody wears the same clothes. They have limited access to anything. They get garbage food every day. They're like, okay, the game's over. Here's the food you get, and they get trash. Yeah. And they're fighting each other because they're starving. That, to me, is an indictment of communism. And if this guy who made the show is actually like, it's actually capitalism that's bad, I'm like, it just goes to show this is a person who made a great show but was really dumb and didn't understand they were actually critiquing communism.
It's like they took him out.
You can literally take anything and twist it around and... Come on, bro. He's so dishonest, bro.
Of a capitalist.
Even if the writer is telling you that, like, that's what it is, then straight up. If you want to see something different, then you got to tell the audience, I'm seeing something completely different than what this guy's showcasing. Now, if you do, like, with what Tim is saying, if you're going to go that far and say, like, well, he's unknowingly critiquing communism or something like that, like, that'd be hard for me to buy, considering what the writer is trying to make, like what they're trying to do with their artwork. You can't just leapfrog over them. And also, you can't. He's full of shit on the social level as well. Of this is the true tenets of communism. That's been a constant argument throughout time of why even countries overthrow other countries. Yeah, I think he made the excuses in regards to Venezuela, like why it was okay, like oh, we can kind of do this, like not really like putting it down as like this is a kind of like a war crime. Like no, he was kind of like, I don't know, he's doing that shit in regards to Venezuela and avoiding certain questions and topics about it. It's like, oh, because calling something communist is some sort of excuse to get rid of it, especially in foreign policy. And obviously, they're not explaining. Tim won't explain like a realistic version of it. He'll just go, oh, look at the trillions dead in China, or whatever the fucking examples they always bring up. Mao. Meanwhile, you could do the same with capitalism, and people will say, well, or people who are actually honestly into the free market idea, they'd be like, well, that's not real capitalism. Argument goes both ways, man. I hate that shit. When someone argues on behalf of an ideology and then says, look how perfect everything is. Look, everyone's fat. That means there's plenty of food. Everyone has TVs, man. Come on. Everyone has a PlayStation. Ben Shapiro economical arguments. Bothersome. Let me just play a little bit of what this guy says. 9/11 boy. I want to hear a little bit of what he says, because I think it's definitely better than Tim, and more probably closer to nailing on like what maybe the story should be leaning towards. Not necessarily what the writer was trying to do, but maybe what the story should actually be leaning towards. But here we go.
System where they were doing pretty bad to a communistic system where they were doing really, really bad, and were executed by the state.
Not that shit.
He's
full of communism. Shit too on economics.
For like childish whims.
Exactly, and that's literally what happens under communism. Look up,
Yeah, I gotta make sure I stay on the show.
happened in China, what happened in Russia. What
Don't worry about
happened in,
this guy. We're about the
you
idea,
know,
he says.
in Europe as well. So there's a
Venezuela.
long history. There's a long context to people just being purged, taken away. Another very interesting aspect of that.
In all systems, because it's people doing these things. System isn't growing legs and walking around and doing shit. It's people doing it. That's why it's continuous. No matter what system you put out, no matter what example you bring up, like, oh, look what happened here, and they had capitalism. Like yeah, it's these people, these types of people doing these same types of things to their own people and to others. Just like seems like in any other government claiming to be standing up for a system. Look at China, right? They're communists. Whatever label they fly under, they're still like, oh, you're doing horrible shit. How should I take that and then dismiss the idea that's actually supposed to be discussed? Or do I look at, hey, these guys aren't actually practicing the thing that they claim to be practicing? No matter what says, socialism, capitalism, communism, have we actually seen the real versions of any of these things? Good luck. You got a human in the way.
That story is the masks that the very rich people were wearing were kind of similar to the same masks that the Rothschilds were pictured wearing at some of their private.
It's so
parties and
simple;
gals
it doesn't
couple
want to be
decades ago.
understood.
So I saw that right away. I was like, wait, that's the elites doing this, and I thought of the movie more of a critique about the ruling elites. Because it's essentially, again, spoiler alert, rich people coming together to watch the average poor people, struggling people kill each other over money.
Okay. Now that's the idea I wanted to go with, of what I would think would be a better theme for the show. Now, that is in the show as far as the elites. They're the guys wearing the masks and gambling on who's going to win the Squid Game or who's going to win the whole game and whatnot. That is in there, but they're portrayed in such a cartoonish way where they have like maids and I don't know, like servants and shit like that, and they're smoking cigars and robes. They're wearing, occultish whatever masks, stuff like that. Like, oh, too bad, Johnny lost this bet. Meanwhile, it's like someone's head being cut off. Like that was the loss of the bet. Someone's like actually dying. That's there, but it's like it's too cartoonish, and I wish they went more in depth on like what is the mind of someone who would be involved in something like that, right? It wouldn't be like, oh, ta 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 ta. It'd be like, I don't know. I think it'd be much darker and sinister of a character, of a portrayal of a type of person. But yeah, me personally, I wish the theme was something in that direction as opposed to a critique of capitalism, or in Tim's case, an accidental critique of communism, which sounds way so far out of reality that you have to go doughy-eyed lying to to say that out loud and have a really stupid audience to buy it. If his audience bought that, they're dipshits. They're dumb. Sorry. And by dumb, I don't mean like you're just automatically inherently dumb. I mean dumb as in you would look down on yourself if you had some type of, you used your critical thinking in that realm, you would look down on yourself and be like, fuck, I'm an idiot. That's what I mean by dumb. But it is what it is. They'll continue stealing their money and on and so forth. They'll get away with it. It is what it is. World keeps spinning. All right, that's it for me. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Tell me what you think. Is it actually a critique of communism the whole time and I just missed it? Or is it strictly a critique of capitalism? Or do you think, like, I don't give a fuck, they should have went with this. Like, the show sucked, they should have did better with this. Or the show was okay and could have did better with this. You tell me. The description box. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links, all of them. I can't do the arm thing anymore. My arms aren't in camera. I gotta go like, ooh, all the links. All the links in the description box. Check them out. If you don't have money, share them somewhere. If you do, donate. All links in the description box. With all that said, give this video Thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.